Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I'm going to talk about my daily routine in MSF. You know, people have been asking me to make this video. I never would have expected people to want it. So I tried my best last night not to do much of anything. I did spend energy just so I didn't cap out. But other than that, I haven't really done much. The first thing I usually do, typically I'm waiting until after reset, so as soon as reset occurs, for me it's midnight Central Time. So if I'm up at midnight, then I can do it then. Otherwise, I'm doing it in the morning. The first thing you do is donate, and people have been asking me why donate. So if you donate 10,000 gold, you get the 10,000 gold back. So whatever level you're at, you should be doing that. And then you get this stuff called Alliance Credits, which you can use in the war store for stuff. I would recommend holding it for now because I think that it could have value. They could have value for the future, either for upgrading war rooms. I know that's something that they tested out in a beta test, in a play test, but there could be other uses for it. They may have more expansion to Stark Tech, so I would keep this stuff. Mine is low just because I just only recently maxed out Stark Tech. So you should always be doing that. And then I usually go to the challenges here. Now there's one challenge that I do not use right away, and that's this one. So with these other challenges, I just auto win them, or, whatever highest level you can do with these challenges here. But then for this one, I keep it. So why do I keep this? Well, first of all, I've generally maxed out Blitz charges. I've maxed out heals. So what you want to do is wait and see, do I need my raid heals? Are my raid heals today going to get me under 500? You want to make sure that you're not wasting these, because these do not go over the cap. So if you are, let's say, at 450 raid heals and you just click this 3 times, well, you're going to waste all but 50 of these, okay? So it's not going to go over this. So right now I'm getting nothing here other than the Elite 4 credits. So there's no reason not to wait, because the Elite 4 credits are not much of anything. So you do your donation, you do your challenges. Then what I usually do, you always need to remember to go to Blitz. Here you're going to want to go to Blitz. I purposely take these blitzes off because there's some new players that really need long shot shards. I don't. If I don't need the shards, I don't compete in it. So then I'll just sim the first 2 to make sure that I get credit for it. But if you want to participate, you could do that as well. I just try not to do it for off ones. Now let's talk about farming. So for farming, I think every player, whether you're free to play, veteran, new player, you should be doing the 50 core refreshes of regular energy. You get 4 of those, okay? So, and then you get, I do the 4 100s, and that's something that you really can only do, I'd say, if you are whaling to at least some extent on this game. So what do I spend it on? So first of all, obviously shards do matter if you are a player who is new to the game, for example, and you don't have, a character like Nebula or something like that. You should certainly be focusing on that character. But, you shouldn't just be, one thing that you should be thoughtful about here is that this is not a game where you get some special bonus for unlocking characters. This is not Pokemon, okay? You don't get some bonus for having every character. So the focus should be on what characters are actually useful for you in the game modes that matter. And the most important game mode's Dark Dimension. So Dark Dimension 2, 3, and 4. But then after that, it's going to be game modes like Arena and Raids. So once you have those characters locked down, you've got you're doing well in Arena, Raid, you've completed your Dark Dimensions. Then it's just about how much you care about War, and that really is very dependent on you and the alliance you're on and so forth. After that, if there's a lot of characters here that I don't use anywhere, okay, that are only useful for getting through a campaign or something like that, or for an event, right? I brought Hand to some minimal level to get through. I got these characters to the minimum possible level to get through the particular challenge. So you should not be focused on farming every random character. So what my focus is 100% on orange gear. So I bring up characters to gear tier 15 just for streaming purposes, the new characters. But old characters, I'm not putting any gear on at all. And so my focus is first, I generally go to a character and I try to find SBCs. So I go to I can go to here. I assume we've got one of these. There we go. Okay, so I got 14,500 SBCs. So I go here, and I spend my first energy every day farming every SBC node that I can. Okay. All right. So there we go. Just do that. Now, the only time I would recommend doing these refreshes, I generally don't refresh these nodes, is if you're buying a lot of energy, okay, like you're buying the 3,000 energy pack or something like that, or if there's like a boosted rate on these. If there's a boosted rate on the SBCs, they occasionally do that, then go for it and do the core refreshes. I don't do that. Then what I do is I keep track of catalysts and and origin gear. So here's what I mean. The catalysts are, so we've already got the SBCs. You need those. Every character is going to use those. But then you have these catalysts. So this is a 35, 36. That's the damage catalyst. The focus catalyst, I got 38, 38. I've got the health at 3,000. These armor, I've got a bazillion of these. Okay. So I keep track of that. And I know which ones I need. So the ones I've been mostly focused on are damage and focus. Even though I have more of those than health, I tend to use more damage and focus than I do health. Okay, so I don't farm these. I do farm those other two. And then for the origin pieces, what I look at is here, not all origin pieces are made equal. So here for mutant, you've got these, for every one of these pieces, superior X gene, you need 10 of these spliced, 5 of these little dots, and 3 of the metabolic enhancers. So you need twice as many of these as you do this, over 3 times as many of these as you need here. So this is what you run out of. You have to be, for mutants, you're constantly farming this. By the way, there's one node here that has like an error in it that gives you 2 of these instead of 1. So this is one. This is probably the most valuable node in the game to farm. If you need mutant gear, do it. Now, I farmed up mutant gear like crazy for a while, so I'm really pretty set here. I also have these extra crafted pieces that they gave us. What I'm short on right now is skill. So I keep track, okay, for every single one. I'm like, okay, here's where I'm at with this or whatever. The one that I am low on is skill because they've been introducing so many skill characters. So my focus is very heavily on skill because you see I've used my crafted pieces and I'm doing pretty well here. But but essentially what I need here is I've got plenty of these, okay, because I have about 600 of these. If you multiply it by 3, that would get you to 1,800 here. So I have more of these than I need, but I really need to, you always need as many papers, I call these papers, as possible. And then the suitcase, you need to have half of these here, so I need some of these as well. So every day, I farm away at these pieces. Now, I understand this may seem boring to you. You may be like, hey, philosopher, why can't I, just keep unlocking characters? And that's fine. But, focusing on unlocking Mr. Fantastic for a newer player, it's not really getting you anything, okay? If you want to have an extra team, fine. If you need it for some purpose, fine. But what this is doing is I'm carrying forward the agenda of having my having the characters upgraded that I actually need. Now, regarding ISO, I'm obviously further along in ISO than most of you. I've got a lot of ISO 5 characters, but what I do is you need to break down by section here. Okay, by class. Okay, controller. There's a lot more good controllers in the game, right? Then there are, I don't know, supports, to use an example, right? There are not that many good supports in the game. So you have to figure out which classes do you need for, let's say, Doom Raid or whatever you're trying to accomplish. Then what you want to do is I just go right to the bottom of my roster. So for controller, Jessica Jones, I need everything, okay, for controller, because that I'm constantly farming, constantly upgrading, okay? So what I do is I'm just going here. You get two runs at each one of these before you refresh. Now, one question some of you may have is, do I do the 12s or the 24s? So I had done the math before they changed the numbers and the farming. And the numbers recently changed, and I have not done the math since. And I've just been busy. I moved in real life. So if somebody could do the numbers, post them in the comments. I'd be interested in your feedback, whether it's better to do the 12s or the 24s. It used to be that these were better if you needed pieces, and these over here were better, the 24s, if you needed ions. I don't need ions, so I was always doing the pieces, but I'd be interested in your thoughts there. But essentially here, what I'm doing is looking at what I actually need. Now, for Jessica Jones, I need everything for controller. But let's say for protector, for example, all I need is 3 pieces. So I won't farm this. I won't farm this. I will only farm these ones that I'm super low on. Okay? And I'll farm them multiple times. And that's generally what I'm doing throughout the day. So whenever I get an energy drop, that's what I do. Then you always need to make sure that you are doing the event energy. I always try to do the 50s and the 100s, but at least you want to do the 50s for event energy. This is where I think free-to-play players have some of a crunch when you have an event, because you have to do core refreshes for regular energy and the event. It really limits your core, is a higher core expenditure, so that could be a limiting factor. But in any event, these are definitely worth doing for most players, because the event orbs usually drop stuff in addition to the new character. They drop, in this case, let's say Bishop Shards or other things that you might need. But with these, you have to be very careful because the energy caps very quickly. 100 energy can get capped overnight, so you really want to make sure you get this down to almost 0 before you go to sleep. And then when you get up in the morning, this is usually the first one that I go to. All right? That's basically what I'm doing. That's what I do on a daily basis. Now, when I go to the stores here, what I do is I just go and I purchase the pieces that I need. I purchase Gear 15 uniques. I purchase all Gear 15 uniques. I purchase Gear 14 uniques that I'm low on. And I find that means I don't have to buy. I never need offers or anything for these, because you just get so many of them. Look at this. You get so many of them just from refreshing the store. And then I get the G13 uniques that I am under 65 for, is what I've started doing, because this is such a stupid bottleneck. The G13s, I've spent a lot of time on those. What I will say is I've been doing refreshes here. It's not clear to me that this is worth it even for whales to do these refreshes to the extent I am. You may want to just do the 50s. I've just been doing it because it's nice to not have to ever whale on uniques. But, particularly if you're free to play, of course, you're not going to do that. But I would be looking here, and, sometimes I'll even purchase this stuff. I just watch on the high roller milestone. You don't want to go over now 2.3 million. So I just watch this every day. I actually spend a lot of my milestones at this point on getting gear as opposed to upgrading characters. If you are at a different stage of the game, you may want to spend a lot of it on upgrading characters. But for me, my characters are kind of where I want them to be. I just am more looking forward to a DD5 and making sure that I have the gear I need for that. I don't spend really anything in the Blitz store unless I need these. I think all 3 of these are a bad deal. Here I'm spending on the pieces I need. You see, I bought the little suitcase or whatever. I just spend on the pieces I need. I don't spend on SBCs. I don't think this is worth doing, but I do spend on the origin pieces I need, or the other catalysts. Here, I don't spend on these. I just save the credits, hoping that they're going to change these orbs, because I used to like the Kingpin orbs. Don't like these as much. I'm saving here for DD5. That's a big goal of mine. Here, I just buy the pieces that I'm very low on because I have a ton of ions. If you don't have a ton of ions, don't do it. Here, obviously, this is a whole different topic. Regarding Ultimus credits, I just save them. Nothing in here is a good deal. These purple pieces are an awful deal. These orbs are a pretty awful deal. The only thing that's worth doing is Ultimus Orb, particularly if you're a free-to-play player, because the Ultimus Orbs contain characters that are not farmable. Okay, so you can just go into your Ultimus Orb, and if you're, a free-to-play player, you can get whatever it is that you need, right, for a legendary online. You get your Moon Dragon or, whatever it is that you're looking for, right, to make sure your Phyla-Vel and so forth, to make sure you get your arena team upgraded or whatever it is. It can save you a lot of currency elsewhere, your Polaris for unlocking Adam Warlock. So I think this can be valuable, but once you get to a point where you have the characters you need and you've got Ultimus up to whatever stars. I mean, he's not an important character. I have him literally at level 1. Then you just save these and hope that they rework the shop. In other games, this shop is amazing. This sort of overflow shop. They have something like this in Galaxy Heroes, which is amazing. You buy all your gear there, but that they definitely need to rework this shop for Marvel Strike Force. All right, guys, if this was helpful to you, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel. Also, give me your comments. I did this video specifically because it was requested. If you have requests or if you have comments, you have a different routine, put it below or go to my Discord. Lots of great conversations there. I linked that below, and my Twitch stream is also linked below. I try to stream most weeknights.